So recently I had a 6-day stint where I crossed the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean, going to London and to Tokyo Narita. Lots of stuff happened on this trip. This might be a long video for you. There are chapters down below. Let's get into it. But first, hello, my name is Darren. I'm a dad. I am an airline pilot. I am a husband of a scientist. I make videos about aviation because I love aviation so much. And I tell it like it is, a vlog from a 6-day period in the beginning of this month. And hello again. So this morning at like 7:45 a.m., I walked off a cruise ship in Galveston, Texas, hopped in my main car, and started driving back home. It is currently 2:20 in the afternoon, and I am now headed to the airport to fly to London. Yeah, it's a reserve day, and so you might be wondering, Darren, why were you walking off a cruise on a reserve day? Great question, Darren. Because my reserve time didn't start until 11 a.m. Well, my plan A was to weird people. I always encounter the weirdest drivers. My plan A was to jump seat non-rev from Houston Hobby to DFW, and then go out, get in my car, change into my uniform, and do a trip. Before we left for vacation, we had pre-arranged this car, at the airport with my uniform pressed in the back, with all the pieces of the uniform, fully packed kit bag, ready to go for that plan. But this morning, I walked out the airplane at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I had no trip. I also walked out the ship this morning at 8 a.m. I had no trip assigned. So I know from the schedule that the first real trip they could give me is it's a 4:20 departure to London with a 3:20 p.m. sign-in. So with that in my head, we started driving home. Now, as we drove about an hour and a half into the drive, we were up at George Bush Airport, right? That's in North Houston. If I got a trip at that point, I could easily dump off into George Bush, jump seat to Dallas, and yada, yada, yada. Now, between George Bush and home, so now it's around 9:30 in the morning, is kind of no man's land. There's a Waco and College Station. This College Station is off the beaten path, and Waco's way off the beaten path. But really, they could, at 9:30, we didn't get into Dallas until 12:30, right? That's 3 hours difference. Even if they gave me a trip at 11, the earliest sign-in time would have been like 1:30, 1 o'clock, 1:30. And that's pushing it, because we had no official sign-in time at my airline. So even if they gave me a 1 p.m. sign-in, I could say, okay, I'll be there at 2, and it'd been totally fine. So it all worked out just fine. But I did have to go home and shave. And London. So I'm on reserve for 5 days. I had the entire last 6 days off. I think 7 days off. I don't know, Saturday through Friday. I guess that's 7 days. That's 7 days. 7 days off. So that was nice going on a cruise without using any vacation time. I am on reserve for 5 days, so I'll get back from this trip. I'll have 2 more days of reserve availability period. I doubt they're going to use me. I could put in for overtime, but that's beside the point. This trip, because it goes over December 1st, which is a very busy travel day, I do get an extra 5 hours and 15 minutes of pay for working that day. That'll go on my December paycheck, not my November paycheck, though. For November, be the first month in a long time, I'm only getting reserve guarantee, just my 76 hours and nothing extra. As far as the trip I'm flying, it is the standard London. It's the early London trip. So we leave early, we get back early, but we also leave London early. So it's a 4:20 departure. We get into London, I think, at like 8 in the morning. Or no, we get in London at 6 in the morning. 6 in the morning, which is like 1 a.m. Dallas time, I believe. I'll put the time on the screen. But we leave London at like 1 in the morning and get back into Dallas around 12:40 in the afternoon on Monday. So that's the negative. I'll be exhausted when I get back, because when I wake up in London, it's gonna be like midnight or 11 p.m. in Dallas for the van anyway. My body will not be happy me waking up that time, no matter what time I go to bed. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But happy to have a trip. Happy to be flying. We'll see how December goes. And again, November, I only flew 3 trips, so we'll have to see if I get more trips in December. This is an FO trip, a flying trip, so I'll be doing at least one of the legs I don't care which one. You see I'm in this big heavy winter coat because it's 62 degrees here. I think the high in London is in the 50s, and I hate cold. So I'm wearing my thermal underwear under my uniform pants. I have a thermal shirt in my suitcase so I can walk around London, and I have my gloves, and I have my Taylor Swift hat. So, seeing all those, maybe I'll be warm enough to go explore London, um, or I might just stay in and work on my next video. All right, follow along. Halfway to the airport already. So I got to the airport, and I typically park in the same employee lot every time because it's nothing like getting back from a red-eye trip and forgetting where you parked. This employee lot is atrocious, full of potholes, divots, many of them flood. The airport does not care about any of the employee lots, and that's a soapbox I will stand on forever. Even getting from this lot to the employee bus, there is no easy way to do it. They have this big fence in the way that they have no way of walking by with your luggage. But anyways, I'm glad I can almost always come back to Terminal D. Always go through the same door. This is where the customs comes out of, so I'll be there in about a couple days anyway. Upstairs, and then I pass the same Jehovah's Witnesses I see in multiple countries. They're always standing right there every time I go to the airport. Anyways, cleared KCM, didn't get randomed. Went down to the crew room because again, I'm the FO flying the trip, and it's customs of my airline to meet the captain and FO that they meet in the crew room. See my phone down the bottom of the screen. I am signing in for my trip. I can sign in via my phone. I use GPS to make sure I'm actually at the airport. No captain downstairs, so I head over to the gate, and this is where the fun began. So normally when I walk on the airplane, on 777, they're always powered on, ready to go. This one was dark. I'm like, that's not normal. So I look around for the logbook, don't see it, take my seat, and I notice the APU has a sticker above it. APU, which is our generator on the ground, is an op. And I see one external power unit attached. I'm like, this is not the start of a good trip. That one GPU failed almost right when I put it online. So I opened my window to get some ventilation going, went downstairs, found the crew chief, and let him know we needed 2 external power units, our new power units anyway. He says, yeah, they're on the way. Okay, back upstairs, and I'm waiting. And it was a while. We had so many issues leaving the gate, but eventually we got to London here, as you can see. A lot happened. It'll be part of my debrief here in a second. But we got a hard stand, not a actual gate. Yeah. But it took an hour and 45 minutes to get everyone off the airplane. The airport authority only sent over 2 buses for a full 777-300, over 300 passengers plus crew to get off the airplane. It took a while, and we aren't paid for that extra time. It's just volunteer time. It is what it is. Got off the airplane, hopped on the bus, cleared customs, and then we got back on the bus, headed to the hotel, took a short nap, and then I headed down the street to get some udon noodles, and here is my debrief. So, power issues, a medical emergency, uh, flight control issues, flight instrument issues, all before we left the gate. This was the roughest trip I've had in a long time, maybe in the top 5 ever. In London, eating my udon noodles, and yeah, got to the airplane, first one there, and there was no power, no APU, not a big deal, right? Well, we only had one GPU connected, which is fine. We normally had 2. Tried to turn it on, and then it instantly shut off. So I was like, crap. So I went downstairs, talked to the ramp supervisor, and let him know. Said, oh, sorry about that. That GPU's having issues. Or having some portables brought over. Great. Back upstairs, waited in the dark. Not dark, but it's 3 in the afternoon. Finally brought the portable over. It took a long time, like 20 minutes. Plugged them in. Fine. Power works. And then just craziness. We had started boarding, and the captain arrived, relief pilot arrived. I'm the FO for the trip. And we noticed that the captain's FMS wasn't working. Like it was stuck on the main screen, wouldn't leave to the FMS screen. So we had to call maintenance for that. They were standing by the aircraft. He came on board. Took him about 15 minutes to troubleshoot that. Finally got it working. Okay. That was after I'd already loaded the FMS and tried to get the flight plan and everything else, and that's important for later on. Boarding has started, and then boarding is almost done, and then we got a call from the back that a passenger had a medical emergency on board. I'm not going to get into details. So I had to call paramedics, and that took a while. All that to be handled. They took everything off the airplane. They had their bags pulled off the airplane. And then we noticed that the aileron wasn't centered up. I mean, the yoke wasn't centered up on 0, 0 like it's supposed to be. So I managed for that, and it took a while for them to figure that one out. That was figured out. Then what else happened? Something else happened, I can't remember, but it took a long time to get off the gate. I tried to get our clearance after I already loaded the flight plan via CPDLC, and didn't work. And I couldn't log in. And it's kind of normal at these gates that you can't get good reception for CPDLC. Didn't think much of it at all. Took the gate, 17 right departure, we launched, finally up in the air, an hour and 20 minutes late. It is what it is, right? Well, Captain he flew over there, so he wanted to take the last break, which is whatever, that's fine. Normally, if whoever flies takes the second break, that's fine. Well, we're getting ready we're over New York, and I tried to log on to CPDLC multiple times on the flight to get ready for the oceanic crossing, right? Well, first 3 times I tried it, it would say sending, but never logged on. And we're like, well, that's not good. And finally, we're like, okay, well, we need to figure this one out. So I started going through the manuals, trying to figure out how to reset the system. And no matter what we did with the manuals, it wouldn't reset. So now we're like, well, crap, we need CPDLC to go over the ocean. Yada, yada, yada. Dispatcher said it's required. Gander won't give us any relief. Okay. We have to go to divert to New York. We can't. Otherwise, if we flight level 270 to go across the ocean, we don't have the fuel to cross at 270. Fine. Well, right before we get to that point of we have to have CPDLC, it was time for my break, and it's like, well, it's not working. Nothing we're doing is working. So we tell the relief pilot came back up, what's the situation, and I'm like, we'll probably have to go to New York. And there's a dispatcher swap at our airline. Well, the news dispatcher's like, hold on. So now I'm like 20 minutes into my break because I'm thinking I'm not getting a break. We're going to JFK. The news dispatcher says, well, keep flying, keep trying. We're like, it's not working, man. It's not working. But we keep flying, and then he lets us know about 25 minutes into my break, hey, Gander gave us relief. We can fly over at 290, and we have the fuel for it. We'll land with this much fuel. Captain's like, fine, that's fine. Landing with that much less fuel than normal, it's fine. Still like 30,000 pounds of fuel. So I'm like, well, I guess we are going to go on our break. So I went on break, and so I lost half an hour on my break. My own fault. My own choosing to not go on break when I was supposed to. I slept really good. I'm back up front. And I went back up front right when we're going from Gander to Shenwick Center. Shenwick. Well, we had problems with HF radios. Lots of problems with HF radios. And finally got everything figured out. Enough. Good. Then we are going to leave Oceanic, and we have problems getting our next frequency from HF radio again. Finally figured it out. Okay, use guard to get that figured out. And then we're like, fine, whatever. And then as we are getting closer, we get our gate assignment. Nice gate, good, fine. This thing will be over. Come into London, didn't have to hold, good. 27 left. Captain made a great landing, great. Oh wait, right before we landed though, we got a new assignment. Like maybe 10 minutes before landing at most. New gate assignment was a hard stand. Hard stand. Full switch on 300. Landed, got to the hard stand. 1 hour and 50 minutes later, we all walked off the airplane. An hour and 50 minutes later, we all walked off the airplane. Got to the hotel 3 hours after our arrival. Yeah. All right, I'm going to enjoy my udon noodles now. More later. With a very short and overnight, I didn't do very much. Got to the airport the next day, kind of a long walk from where we to the airplane. First went on the airplane, put my stuff away, and then got ready for the flight back. Thankfully, the flight back was totally normal, totally normal. And we were also having to have a normal flight. Like everything was just by the book. Yay! I did take the last break so I could be refreshed and get home fully awake. Made an average landing on 3-6 left and head outside to the next debrief. So not every trip can be amazing and stress-free. Got back from London, flight 79, 777-300. Yeah, so last night I went to bed around 8:30, slept very good. Woke up early this morning, hopped on the hotel van. We all got to the airport, and London security this morning was being London security. It was kind of ridiculous for all of us going through. They were so inconsistent in how they were doing the procedures. It was annoying. And it took a while. It took a while for us all to go through security. But we got through security, and it caused we didn't get to the gate. It's complicated, but we didn't get to the gate until 5 minutes before boarding was supposed to start. Normally we get to the gate half an hour before boarding was supposed to start, and it was none of our fault. We were all on the van at the right time. It's just traffic and craziness, right? But so everything was going fine until I guess the traffic or something happened, and a crap ton of cargo didn't get to the airport. It was supposed to be on our flight. And so our planned takeoff weight was 40,000 pounds higher than what we actually had. So we had to adjust our numbers. Yeah, that's a better thing, right? Less fuel burn and everything else. That was a rare problem to have that much of a difference between our planned takeoff weight and our new takeoff weight. But I took off, 27 left. Standard departure. It was a quick right turn for noise abatement, up to 6,000. I hand flew it until we were going straight to about 4,500 feet, and then autopilot on. I elected to take the last break versus, pilot flying normally takes the second break. I'm like, you know what? I'll take the last break so I can be more relaxed before our arrival time. What are you doing? So anyway, I took the last break, and unfortunately I couldn't sleep very much. I'm guessing because I had such a long break last night, I couldn't sleep very much because I wasn't that tired. But had my about 2 hour and 48 minute break and went back up front. And while I was gone, the captain and the FB worked out a new arrival for us to come on the west side of the airport versus we had planned to arrive on the east side of the airport. That saves so much time in DFW as far as taxiing goes. Now, it's not a guarantee that we'll get a west side runway, that's where we park, but it's a pretty good chance of getting a west side runway. And indeed, we got 3-6 left. It's a beautiful sunny day today, calm winds, clear skies, which always means a crappy landing for me. Thankfully, flaps 30, had about 145 knot ref speed, 150 knot approach speed, and it was a very good landing. I'll have to look at my airline has a program where we can rewatch our takeoff and landing, so I'm going to have to rewatch my landing and see how well I did as far as my landing down the runway. But that's a 3-day trip. It's currently 2:18 in the afternoon, off the rest of the day. Curiously, though, my airline's scheduling department put me on a 3 a.m. call out tomorrow morning, which I find extremely curious because that's not a normal 3 wrap reserved call out time for the 777 in Dallas. I think our first departure is 9 a.m. So normally it's a 5 a.m. wrap. So 3 a.m. wrap is very curious. It could be good in that, whatever they send me tomorrow has to be a pretty short day. I obviously can't do a 3-day international trip because I'm only on good for 2 days, but it's very curious that they gave me a 3 a.m. wrap. I've never seen it before for a 777 in Dallas. But happy to fly again. Easy trip to London. On the way back, or easy trip from London, there was zero drama versus on the way there. Going to get some lunch and head home, and probably start editing the video that's coming out later this week because I haven't started it yet. And stand by because the video's not over yet. I picked up another trip the next morning, so you'll see me here in the car in about 3, 2, 1. So it's known as dozing for dollars. It is when you are paid to sleep, or B, not have to do anything. I'm going to be paid 14 hours at $2.92 an hour to ride in a business class seat to Japan. Now, there's always a catch, right? The catch is I have to fly back. And this is an extra overtime trip. Kind of, sort of. So let me tell you how this all started. This is my day 4 of reserve for the month of December. It's only the 3rd of the month, but it's complicated. Fourth day of a reserve in a row, anyway. I was on a 3 o'clock call out, right? So at 3 in the morning, they could have notified me that I need to fly, yada, yada, yada. But I'm only good for 2 days, just for today and tomorrow. The trip I'm on right now gets back on Thursday. That's where the overtime comes in. So when I saw the trip open this morning, I could have said nothing and not gone and been fine. Chances are I would have been at home the rest of the day. I'd be home tomorrow, and voila, I'm done. 2 days of reserve not being used. Or I could roll the dice, and I'm a gambler. So I rolled the dice, and I went to my airline's website, for Union web, or my pilot website, and put a ballot in to do this trip, 1 for overtime and 2 for time and a half. Overtime is different at the airlines, for pilots anyway. And so it's all done in this very complicated process, but they gave it to me as overtime, not time and a half, which is still fine because I'm still paid my reserve pay for today and tomorrow. And then on top of that, I'm paid for the actual trip I'm doing today and tomorrow. It's a win-win, right? So this trip is worth 26 hours. It's a 14-hour and I think 14-hour and 15-minute flight block time to Tokyo, to Narita. And then coming back, it is 11 hours and 45 minutes. Total 26 hours. All that trip is paid straight to me at straight time, and it goes over my reserve guarantee. Now, how this trip came about. This is not a normal trip for us to head to Narita. From what I can tell from my computer work, an FO got sick. I think FO and FB got sick somehow. In Narita, and they needed to fill those positions, right? The easiest way to fill it is from Dallas. So again, crew members are human beings, and no crew member wants to call in sick while they're away from base. It makes things complicated for the crew member and for the airline, but we're human, and it happens. So the only way to fill that position is to get another pilot from a base. It makes 0 sense for any airline to base pilots in random cities around the world because they might not ever need them. It's extremely rare. People ask that all the time. What happens if you get sick in South America? How are they going to fly the flight? Well, they're going to wait till I'm well, or they're going to have to fly a pilot in. It makes no sense to staff pilots in other countries. Additionally, it's not safe or legal for me to deadhead all the way to Narita and then immediately fly back. I'd be awake for well more than 24 hours. I mean, it's a 26-hour block time, right? Even if I sleep on the airplane, that is not safe. So I have to head to Narita. I'll have like a 15-hour overnight and then fly back. I'm supposed to get back to Dallas at 5:45 in the morning on Thursday, which is my day off, right? Well, if I get back at 6 in the morning, I'll be home in my couch by 7 a.m. I have the whole day off from that point. I'll be able to see my kids before they go to school still, and then annoy my wife for the rest of the day as well. So it is nice to go go west versus east, even though I'm not flying there. And it's a relief pilot back. Again, I'm FB, which I am okay with. I've had a lot of FO trips recently. My landings are good for a long time. So I am totally fine getting a relief pilot trip. It could have gone either way. I bid for both. I bid for the FO and the FB. They just happened to fill the FO before the FB. And FB, FC is something my airline does. It's just FB, FC are relief pilot positions. That's it. So, I think that's it. yeah, this will be a different video, probably a very short video. But yeah, head to the airport now. It is 9:31. The flight leaves at 11. My sign-in time is 10:30 in theory. My sign-in time is always half an hour before arrival. So half an hour before departure. It's kind of silly because boarding's already started by then. But yeah. And I hate rushing, so I'm early. All right, it continues. So it's a long flight over to Narita, right? I ate a lot. I had a nice, comfortable seat. I had many meals. I had ice cream sundaes, played my game. I did buy the Wi-Fi. I used my points from my American Express to pick it. It was free. But we got there, and the gate agent let us know that we were staying at a different hotel. That was kind of weird. I have my app for that. But long walk through customs. Again, I'm in my uniform because it's easier to go through customs, even as working crew in uniform than not in uniform. It is what it is, right? But clear customs, they're very nice. I mean, the Japanese, they're very nice and very organized as far as the customs process goes. It's very easy. Most places are pretty easy, I guess. Okay, made it to Narita. Currently 1:43 a.m. in Dallas, 4:43 p.m. here in Narita. Long deadhead. The trip looked easier on paper than actually doing it now. Say, Darren, you said to sit there for 14 hours, which is true. But it's a long deadhead, right? It's a long day. I mean, considering I was a 3 o'clock wrap, I wasn't up at 3 in the morning last night. But I got up at 5 this morning. So I got up, 22 hours and 15 minutes ago. Had a great seat on the deadhead. I tried not to sleep. I wanted to be able to come here and then fall asleep at a normal time. I tried to work on my video on my MacBook Air. I'm having lots of Final Cut Pro issues. It kept stuttering and stopping. And I'm hoping I don't have to buy a new MacBook Air because it has 8 gigs of RAM. At home it was going fine, so that's kind of annoying not to be able to get some work done. So I played some Madden, watched some YouTube videos I downloaded, watched some Netflix I downloaded, ate a lot of food. You probably saw that already. We're not at the normal hotel because whatever. But and they did move my flight tomorrow. Supposed to leave at 9:30, not leaving at noon, which means I get back at 8:30 in the morning versus 5:45 in the morning. Not a big deal. It's still a day off, but I would prefer to get in early in the morning because I could have been home when my kids went to school on Thursday. Now I'm gonna miss them going to school. So also unfortunate. And yeah, I guess I can call them if I stay up for another 4 hours here. It'll be 8:45 local. It'll be 5:45 in Dallas. That's too early. Be another 6 hours. I don't know. Maybe I can wake up another night and call them before I go to school tomorrow. Anyways, yeah, I am going to go find something to eat. I'm not going out. No, I'll try to get some more work done on my laptop. My next video is be posted on Thursday. It's going to be the video about Buenos Aires. You've already seen it because this is in the past. But yeah, okay, that's all for now. Good morning. It is currently 7:26 local in Narita, 4:26 p.m. in Dallas. I've been up for a long time. I went to bed around 7 o'clock last night, local time, I think. Slept till about 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. Woke up. I think I called the wife for a bit. Then started Anchorman. Went back to bed and slept till about 5 a.m. And then I've been up ever since. Which is fine because I'm FB and I have to go to bed once I get on the airplane anyway. If you hear noise behind me, I open the window. This room has horrible air conditioning. Like, I had it set for 59 degrees for the last 7-8 hours. It is probably in the 70s at best. I like a meat locker when I sleep. But oddly enough, in the morning when I wake up after in a hotel room, I get hot right away. Yeah, I'm weird. But I have the door open now, window open, because I need the cooling. They do have dual pane windows, like 2 separate windows that blocks out all the noise because we're close to the airport. Anyways, I went downstairs for breakfast. Probably show you beef roll of that. Went down for breakfast. Interestingly enough, I went to the main restaurant. They had a sign saying crew buffet downstairs, and you get a 30% discount. I'm like, it's my first time ever here, right? So what's the difference between this buffet and that buffet? Like, well, it's a little smaller and you get a discount. I'm like, still hot food? Because I'm not sure if that's like a continental breakfast. Oh, it's hot food. I went downstairs. It was a very small array of food, high quality, but our normal hotel has more options than this hotel does. But it was enough food for me anyway. But had that now. I'm going to attempt to edit this video for Argentina. I'm having a heck of a time. Final Cut Pro keeps locking up on me in ways it never has before, and I can only assume it's the footage from the video camera I'm shooting on right now, the DJI Osmo 3, is causing the issue. I did transcode the video into 1080p, a downscale from 4K, and I put it in a different wrapper. So if I can get that to work, then I can at least edit everything here. I'll get home tomorrow, and I can take the 4K footage and put it on top of it and replace it, and then it'll be all good to go. Hopefully, we'll have to see how it goes. All right, it continues. Okay, so now it is 9:41. Pickup time is soon. Well, it's 10:15 because it's an off-schedule flight. I'll tell you that. 50 degrees outside. 50 degrees. It's cold. I got zero work done on my video. Just not in the mood to do it, so I'll do it when I get home and we'll see how if it gets out Thursday or Friday for my video about Argentina. As you know about this hotel room, it includes a mobile device charging little bag. It's not just that. I thought this was extra sheets for my bed. No, they included pajamas. And they have slippers and a ton of toiletries, like 2 shaving kits, 2 toothbrush kits, all kind of creams and lotions for your face, a lot of stuff. But I found this cable interesting. It's a little mobile charger. It has USB-C, micro USB, some FOMA 3G, and some CDMA AU cable, and then an iPhone Lightning on it. It's interesting because the plugs here are 110, like the US, so people come here from all over the country. I get it. It's not just America. It's an okay hotel room overall. I just don't like the AC situation. I like a meat chiller. All right. Yeah. I got my oldest some wasabi flavored Kit Kat. We'll see if she eats it. It's about a 12-hour flight back, so I'm FB. I don't know if the captain wants to do 2 breaks, it's half and half, or it's like 11:45. So this would be about 30-minute taxi out is 10:45. No, it's 11:15. It's 11:15. That's 10:45. I don't know. Most people want to do 3-3, 2-2. I just do half and half on breaks. I like half and half personally. But we will see. All right, let's finish packing up and go downstairs. So going downstairs, I met the flight attendants for the first time. Most of them were happy to have an extra overnight in Narita. The pilots, met them as well. Headed to the airport. We all cleared customs, and when you clear customs in Tokyo, probably anywhere in Japan, they give you a little yellow card when you enter the country. Yeah, don't lose that card. You need to leave the country as well. Clear customs and head toward the gate. And we're early. And so the FO mentioned this chocolate they have here he's buying for his wife. And my wife loves chocolate. And it's called this Royce chocolate. I went, well, you know what? She has lots of chocolate from London already, but I'll buy more because you can't have too much. Yes, you can. But headed over there, and I didn't notice it's refrigerated. I'm like, well, that's interesting. And they even recommend buying like little dry ice packs to keep it cold. And I'm glad I did, because you'll see why. But bought the ice, and then head on the airplane. I did put it in our galleys, in our coolers, just for extra cooling. So we pushed off the gate on time and headed toward the runway. Now, if you don't know this or not, maybe you don't know this, the main gear on the 777, they can turn, but they lock into place before takeoff. Today, on this date, they didn't lock into place. And we got a master warning. But here's a picture of how they turn. So you can see that they turn left and right. And again, this was lock into place before we start the takeoff roll. If not, we get a master warning. So we made lots of turns on the way to the runway, and it was all just fine. Full power. Well, we gave it takeoff power, and we got the master warning. And so we had to reject the takeoff. And it's a long way down the runway to the nearest high-speed exit, but we had to exit the runway, and then we kind of sat, and when we exited the runway, the message went away. but we made a few more turns and it came back. So that was it. So I called the mechanics to let them know what was going on. And the Japan Airlines mechanics are fantastic. We got to the gate. They had the MEL ready. They tackled this issue so quickly and professionally. They had us ready to go within 25 minutes. But there was another issue now. Remember I said we're supposed to leave here at 9:30 in the morning? Yeah. We got delayed till noon. Well, no one on paper notified the flight crew, the pilots, that we were actually delayed. We all knew we were delayed. We all got on the bus at the right time. But no one told us on paper. It was a regulatory issue. And the issue was our duty day started at 8:30 that morning. Now, we were fine to do the flight even with an 8:30 start, leaving at noon. We had plenty of time to get to Dallas. But now that we took an hour to go from the gate pushing off, start the engines, yada, 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 taxi around the airport, wait in line for takeoff, reject the takeoff, and get back to the gate. That hour, and then about 45 minutes total of the getting the issue fixed and the new flight plan filed. We refiled and everything else. That time made it so we only had like 7 minutes left. I'm not kidding, 7 minutes to get from the gate and off the ground. Impossible. Unless we extended our duty day. Now, I do not extend my duty day, except for this situation where it wasn't a real extension, because I haven't been at the airport since 8:30 that morning. I've been at the airport since like 10, right? It's a big difference. But one member of the crew didn't want to extend. If they don't extend, if we don't all turn our keys, none of us can turn our keys. So we had to figure out a solution. And the solution was we were legal as is, with no extension needed, to fly to LA. So the dispatcher quickly made a new flight plan, and we had a planned diversion to fly to LA, get new pilots, and then we continue on to Dallas. It was very unfortunate. So we flew to LA, right across the ocean. When we got to LA, and the new pilots flew us all the way to Dallas, long day, ended up adding a bit to my schedule. Got to Dallas, cleared customs, went outside, and hopped in the car and went home. Long trip. And now the debrief. I'm finally back in Dallas. That was a train wreck. This is going to be one of my top 3 craziest trips I've done. Hands down. So many things. So many things. So, I'm sure I narrated some things, but I believe the core of the issue is a silly... the core of the issue is we weren't on paper notified of a flight time change. So when I got my assignment originally, I was supposed to leave Narita at 9:30 in the morning. Well, in flight to Narita, they canceled that flight for whatever reason, and made a new flight at noon with a new flight number. Now, when I landed in Narita, I opened my schedule, I looked for my hotel, and I noticed that we're not at the normal hotel that we're normally at. That was one thing. While we're deplaning, the station manager in Narita wanted to make sure she could find me and the FO that was on the flight as well, that headed to Narita as well, to let us know we're staying at the other hotel. We were aware of this. We got to the hotel, and the hotel let us know that our pickup time was so-and-so time, which was after the 9:30 flight, right? So we were well in the know of the flight time change and the new schedule, right? I told you the FO about it. We knew it. But it wasn't on paper or in the computer. In the computer, in the notification system, we were never notified of the change. Myself, the other relief pilot who was already in Narita, and the FO that headed with me. I think maybe the captain, we're not quite sure. Or I think maybe all of us, but it doesn't matter. But we we weren't notified of the flight time change. So our duty day started at 8:30 in the morning. Now, we were still legal to do the noon departure time because there was still enough slack in there for us to depart, fly on, get like an hour leeway. But once you're in the air, it doesn't matter anymore. You have to be legal to start that flight, and we were. I believe, and the mechanics that were helping us out were Japan Airline mechanics. They are fantastic. We got to the gate, and they were already on the. So I called in as the FB. I'm on the radio talking to operations. I didn't know what's going on with the airplane. I told them what this message was. They got on the airplane, the MEL already open, ready to tackle the issue. They tackled that issue so quick, as far as going into the computer on behind the FO, getting in there, going outside, making sure all that stuff was done. Like, they were really good. But then we all noticed the issue. Like, why are we not showing legal for FAR 117 suddenly? We didn't notice this before because it wasn't an issue. It's not an issue until it is an issue, right? Like, why are we showing, some of them showing negative 39 minutes, some of them showing 10 minutes to go, right? And we couldn't get off the gate and off the ground in 10 minutes. So this is when all the craziness started. And it was, it was really semantics. We all knew about the time change. It was just a paperwork issue. Well, we all have to agree. If one of us doesn't agree to extend our duty day, then it doesn't matter if three of us do. We all have to agree. And someone decided not to extend their duty day. That's within their right, and they don't have to do it. Well, that means we cannot go to Dallas. And the station agent, our gate agent, was very upset by this. Not at that person not wanting to extend, but at the situation for the passengers because they've already been delayed enough. But he said, "Can you go to LA? Can you go to LA, please?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, we can go to LA. I'm happy to go. If it's legal, we'll go to LA. I'm happy to go anywhere to get the people where they want to go, right?" So we had to get dispatch involved, yada yada yada, and then we were totally legal to go to LA. We had a good hour and a half of legality to go to LA. So we had to, MEL was cleared, but we still had to have the release, flight plan filed, a new release, all the paperwork stuff to get done so we could go to LA. That took a while. That took longer than I wanted it to take, but finally done, pushed off the gate, and here's the next issue. Before every single flight, I have to report that I'm fit for duty. I clicked the little button that was fit for duty. It said fit for duty. Well, it didn't take. For me and the FO and the relief pilot, it took for the captain for some reason. Yada yada yada. The issue was the downline flight. We were supposed to fly now Narita to LA, and then they had us flying LA to Dallas, which we couldn't possibly do, but it was just a placeholder flight. Well, that was causing issues in Narita, so they had to delete that flight out of there and have us overnighting in LA, and then we were all FAR 117 legal, good to go. So, and in order to get that done, I had to call on a satellite phone because we can't use our cell phones while taxiing. We have a satellite phone built into the airplane. So I had to, again, I'm the FB, so that's my job is to do stuff outside the airplane because the FO and captain are taxiing the plane. So I had to get on the phone with the dispatcher. It's a crystal clear line. Let him know what the situation was. He had to call crew scheduling. They fixed the issue. We launched. The other relief pilot, whatever reason, I thought, when we were going to Dallas originally, we were going to do half and half on breaks, like long breaks. I was happy with that. I get a good night's rest. He decided to do 2-hour breaks to LA. Well, 2-hour break is really an hour and 50-minute break. And so that's really like maybe an hour and 20-minute nap. So I had 2 hour and 20-minute power naps. Now, the one perk of it was we were only up front in the cockpit for 2 hours at a time, but very short breaks. Really turbulent. It's a whole different kind of turbulence over the Atlantic than the Pacific than the Atlantic. Did the best we could, and that wasn't the last issue. So when we came up front after our 2-hour break, they gave us a briefing of the situation and that we had just gone from Fukuoka to Oakland for controlling of the flight. Well, the CPDLC computer didn't switch over. They didn't know it. The pilots who were on break didn't know it, but I saw it. I'm in the captain's seat. I'm doing relief. I'm doing pilot monitoring duties, and I'm like, why isn't it signing on? So I'm trying to sign on the computer. It's not signing on, meaning we have to do the old-fashioned position reports with HF radio, and it was so hard to get the transmission through. It's very scratchy, very faint, extremely frustrating. So every time we passed a fix, I had to call in saying, flight 9600 position. Flight 9600 past north 42, west 130 at 1842 Zulu. Next is this fix, that estimate, at this altitude. It's not hard, but it's just getting the transmission through. And if you want to change altitudes, getting the data, getting your words through was very difficult. It's very scratchy, very frustrating. But eventually, we crossed the Pacific Ocean. Getting into LA wasn't a big deal. But we landed in LA, and we, again, at this time we're on the ground, we told our crew scheduling that we didn't want to do the deadhead. We're doing our own deadheads. So they canceled our original deadheads at Red Eyes, and we're allowed to make our own new deadhead flights, right, on the same airplane. This whole situation, I got an extra 2 hours pay, 2 hours and 7 minutes pay. The original trip was worth 26 hours. I ended up getting paid 28 hours and 7 minutes. Lots of frustration. And, you know, nothing could have, a few things could have been shortened, but like no one could have foreseen the main gear actuators not locking in place. On my pre-flight, they were dead straight, and there's nothing I can do to make sure that the sensors can tell that they're locked in place. So that's unfortunate. The original issue of the FO getting ill, that was unfortunate. Unfortunate all the way around. But it's done. And I'm done. I think I'm going to be done picking up extra flights for the month. This will put me at 28 plus 76, plus I got an extra 515 from working on December 1st, so that number's on the screen. That is totally good with me. But currently 1:14 in the afternoon. I was supposed to originally be home at 6:45 and then delayed. Original time was supposed to be 8:45. Ironically, the flight from Narita that left after us is arriving here in about 45 minutes. Direct. Yeah. But this is a video just to show you that not everything goes as planned. Not everything is always awesome and amazing, but it's part of the job. Get the people where they want to go. So, as far as the compensation goes for those 6-day period, part of it went onto my November paycheck, part went on to my December paycheck. I'll give you the entire total, and I'll put the whole breakdown on the screen. But the total of the 3-day trip was $71,8845. Included in that figure is a $1502.87 for the working on December 1st. It's a busy travel day, and my airline paid an extra 5 hours and 15 minutes to pay for that, for working on that day. And then as far as and then I also got $97.08 in international pay for that 3-day trip. For the trip to Narita, I was paid $84.7226 plus the $53.75 in international pay, because I only get paid international pay for the Narita to LA portion, not Dallas to Narita because I was deadheading, and not LA to Dallas because it was international and I was deadheading as well. So very good total pay over that 6-day period. A lot went on, a lot happened, and I was so happy to take a break after those 6 days. Very long video. I appreciate your support. Here are my socials. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day, and as always, thank you for stopping by.